Welcome to the last game from round 4 of Kharak Cup number 2. Right now it's going to be Tarnarmour versus Descara. This is pretty interesting here. So Tarnarmour is playing as random, so who knows what he's going to roll. And Descara is playing as Galzian, which is definitely his off faction. I think probably going through Descara's mind here is like, well, this is kind of like a, this is not like a very dangerous player here, so I can, get some practice as the Galzian or maybe give myself a unique little challenge here. Meanwhile, Tarnarmour probably thinking, oh my goodness, Descara, he's like incredible, so maybe I'll play as random and see if I can kind of, kind of trip him up by pulling out a strategy that he's not expecting because he doesn't even know what faction I am. I love it when people play random in tournaments, by the way. It just adds such an interesting element, But he is actually going to roll the Coalition, which is pretty interesting. That's his main faction, so nothing's really changed there, but Descara does not know it. He still doesn't know what faction his opponent is going to be, and he's going to have to see when he drives his base runner through the metal there. That's pretty interesting, and perhaps we'll scout it with his base runner there in the beginning. Looks like Descara went CUs first and has 2 on RUs and going into CUs there. That's pretty standard play. I wouldn't expect anything particularly strange from him. He's going for a pretty normal Sandskimmer fabrication time. Tarnarmour, meanwhile, looks like he wants to do an AAV rush as his carrier runs over his salvagers like you always do in the early game. So it'll be interesting to see excuse me, what Descara has to counter this AAV rush. He quick dropped 100 RUs, I noticed that one, so it's almost certainly going to be assault ships. Watch me be completely wrong. Looks like it's actually probably going to be railguns, isn't it? Moment of truth. Well, I should just stop trying to make predictions like this. I'm always wrong. Doesn't matter. That, of course, is going to be a very good choice here for him because his opponent's going for AAVs. He can't know that, of course, but his blind strategy is on his side right now. These AAVs, I would assume, are just going to drive across the map, try to do their damage immediately. That's generally what you do with AAV rushes. Otherwise, it's not a rush. Meanwhile, Descara is going to try to pick up the first artifact and move out. 3 Sandskimmers now on the map, and you can see what he's doing here, trying to get some sensor coverage, and I like this because he also wants to know what faction is my opponent, what is he throwing at me. I still have no idea from his perspective. And so he's going to see AAVs, he's going to know, alright, it's either Coalition or Sauvon, so going to be pretty relevant, pretty important for me to have seen this, and now to come up with the appropriate counter. So he's going to get all the information he needs. He's going to see how many bases was my opponent on. He saw the AAVs. This has got to be a misplay right here, though. Look at how these AAVs are now trying to react against like this one Sandskimmer. If you're doing an AAV rush, you got to just attack the eco. Like just one LAV will take care of this. You don't really need to worry too much. I heard that Descara is already going for the armor upgrades on his railguns there. So that's usually pretty good. Yeah, it's like I'm using the tech viewer mod, of course, that Majir made, but sometimes it'll like glitch out. Like I'll click around until I can see that. Of course, when I want it to glitch out, it doesn't. But basically, sometimes like this menu here gets really glitched out when I'm using this mod. So occasionally, like you'll see something really funny looking over on that side, and I can't like tell what armor or what tech he's going for and stuff like that. Excuse me. Well, Tarnarmour definitely got distracted there. These AAVs would be doing a lot of work right now if they were in the economy for Descara, but instead they're just still in the middle. Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good example. They're still in the middle of the field here, not really out there yet. And there's assault railguns now for Descara. He's going to want to try to use these 2 assault railguns to hold off this push. Meanwhile, Tarnarmour now going for railgun fabrication. Looks like he wants to play a pretty standard Coalition game. Interestingly, Descara is going for missile ship fabrication. So probably he's expecting like some kind of an air transition. That's quite interesting though. AAVs coming down this dune now. They're getting close to the base, but they're going to find that there are already 4 assault railguns here. That should be enough to hold off this push, I'd rather have expected. This scanner will go down. The seer, not going to last much longer, although it's in an excellent position. Look at how these units have to get right on top of it where they can start shooting on it. Very good positioning from Descara. Scoreline, meanwhile, is 1-0, and Space Runner looks like he wants to make it 2-0, but it hasn't moved in just yet. AAVs are pushing in just now, but there's 4 assault railguns and a carrier here that has 3 power chips in it, of course. These AAVs shouldn't really be able to get anything done other than killing these sand skimmers and maybe 1 or 2 salvages before they go down. Smoke on the carrier and then also on the assault railguns would be really nice right now. This smoke here not really doing anything, not sure why it's there, but those 2 are very good to help ensure the escape of the AAVs. And they're going to get out of there recognizing that there's not really too much they can do. So as we would have expected, Descara with a pretty classic hold of that. He's just going to transfer over to this mining base now. Hey, I should have done that in my last game. Huh? Just gone over here. That was pretty dumb. Anyway, Descara showing that he's better than me. He's moving over onto this base over there. And these assault railguns here actually seem like they want to just push, maybe even kill off their opponent immediately. Like, kill off these AAVs, I mean. No, he's going to kill the carrier without... No, it looks like he wants to kill off the AAVs of his opponent, chase them down in the middle of the map and see what damage he can do as they're on their retreat. There is 1 railgun, 2 railguns for Tarnarmour in the middle of the field, but that shouldn't matter too much. And now assault ship tech being researched from Descara. So it looks like he's going for, you know, what would you even call this? The armored chassis tech tree? I don't know. He's getting all 3 of the... No, actually he canceled missile ships. He was going for that, where you have missile ships, railguns, assault ships, but instead he's just got assault railguns and assault ships. So, interested to see what he'll do there. Tarnarmour crucially just a little bit too late on the smokes there, and his railgun is going to get picked off there. But if he hides on this dune, the assault railgun shouldn't be able to push in at all, because of course they would just get killed off there. Another artifact going to get taken out for Descara. Railgun armor level 3 coming in now. That's huge. You'll notice this in the highest level of play, is that like once they get railguns, immediately railgun armor, that's what I need. And they'll often go to level 3 just immediately, like you can see here. Because like, you know, 7 assault railguns is, you know, with armor 3 is better than like 10 assault railguns without it. Meanwhile, Tarnarmour going for the assault pack. This doesn't tech to any other types of units, but that would tell me he wants to go for some more LAVs. And his opponent researching interceptor fabrication, probably because he hasn't seen any air units yet. I would assume the idea is that, you know, he researched missile ships, but then he canceled it halfway through because he hadn't seen any air units and he isn't expecting to see any either. These LAVs trying to push in here, but they're going to get denied by these assault rails. Assault rails, of course, very good counters to LAVs if you can keep them far enough away. Tarnarmour does have this position up on the top of the dune here, and he's gotten close enough to do damage to these assault railguns. Almost gets one, but just barely not. That's quite unfortunate for him. But good smoke is going to make sure he doesn't lose any units here. And he's going to go for this artifact. A support cruiser's coming out here. I'm not sure if this is a misclick or if he wants it up there to heal his army. I could see either one. Let's see. Sand skimmer upgrades coming in for Descara. Still no additional unit techs. But the heavy railgun numbers are slowly increasing for Descara. That would suggest we're moving somewhat further into the mid-game. Support cruiser is going to arrive. He's going to be healing up all these units. Smoke deployed immediately. So that's wise of Tarnarmour. Close the distance of engagement there. If the engagement happens on top of Tarnarmour's units, he will win that fight 100%. And as the smoke clears, Descara is retreating away. And Tarnarmour is going to get a couple of hits off with the railguns, but no kills, it looks like. And actually, he stands to lose a railgun of his own. Just barely not. Oh, it is going to go down. That's quite unfortunate. You know, with the high ground and everything, I actually thought that was like some kind of genius play there, but it didn't quite work out. Descara's army looking rather dangerous. And it's going to go for the big backstab here. This is a little risky because it leaves him very open as well, but he could do some serious damage here. But he's going to get scouted by this probe. Tarnarmour knows all about this, and he's going to move his force to react. However, these sand skimmers looking a little treacherous. We'll have to see what they've got in mind. They're moving off here onto the left where he's got that scanner, and he knows that there's no base just yet. No, they're going to be moving up here to clear the support cruiser now. Brutality. The railgun's getting tasked to take care of this. That seems like a misclick right there. Because, you know, railguns don't do too well in that kind of fight. But beautiful double-pronged attack here from Descara. It's going to clean up the support cruiser. Meanwhile, these assault rails are in the back line. They're having a field day against these AAVs, although these 3 heavy railguns get left behind. You know the code. Stick to the code. And now these assault rails are going to push in. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll back up. They're just going to clean up these LAVs, it looks like. But the damage really was done by these sand skimmers, clearing out a support cruiser, clearing out quite a few railguns. And more railguns going down to these assault rails. And Descara seems to be doing very excellent damage right here against the Tarnarmour. And look at the air tech, of course. It's Descara. Of course he goes for air tech. That's like what he always does. But I'm curious to see what he's going to do with these. Things really looking quite bad for Tarnarmour here. His opponent is up economically. He's got a really big army. He could do some serious damage pretty quickly here. These interceptors moving into the back line. Gonna take out a whole bunch of salvagers in one salvo right there because there's so many of them. Assault rails are still being annoying, still haven't been cleaned up. Really getting a lot of value out of those. More salvagers going down here. There's no anti-air. Tarnarmour's researching missile battery fabrication, but it's too late. Meanwhile, these sand skimmers have gotten into the back line. They're just going to clean up everything that's not here, actually. All the salvagers are already dead, but they can go for logistics modules still. Just look how many sand skimmers. 24 sand skimmers. 24. These assault rails are still alive. Still being so annoying because they've got that armor 3. Logistics modules going down. The assault rails, I imagine, must be getting cleaned up now, finally, right? They're still alive, look at this. Because the only vehicle damage 1 is finished. Tarnarmour really just looking like he's getting picked apart, and now Descara coming in for the crushing hammer blow here, just moving his carrier up to the top. When you see it, like, when you're kind of behind here, you think, oh, well, maybe I've got an economic advantage, maybe that's like what I still have to hold on to this map, and then your opponent's carrier rolls in with like almost full power, and you're like, yeah, no, I don't have any advantages left. So often it's when the opponent sees that carrier roll up to their front line that they just say like, all right, GG, and they leave the match. It's almost like a political move, you know? But the entire army of Tarnarmour getting cleaned up now. His carrier even actually taking significant damage from these interceptors. And he's throwing everything he's got at his opponent now. It's kind of a Hail Mary toss here. Descara even holding the 5th artifact. This carrier will go down to assault railguns. Wow, we don't see that very often. That is going to be the game to Descara. Not all that surprising. I mean, we know Descara is one of the best players in the game. But still going to be rather annoying for Tarnarmour as he hasn't gotten any points this round. Or this tournament, that is. His last match, of course, is going to be a very difficult one against Descara or against Garmulator. I mean, either one. No, he already played Garmulator, didn't he? Round 1. Anyhow, that is going to be the game. And now, if you look at the tournament standings now, the way this tournament worked, we had 6 contestants, and 4 of them were going to move on to the elimination brackets. Hold up, let me just make sure I've actually cast all of the rounds here. Just don't give away any spoilers. Yeah, I've cast all the rounds. So, I believe that has Romper Frolic at 2 points moving on, me at 2 points moving on, Descara at 4 points undefeated moving on, and Garmulator also at 3 points, moving on into the elimination bracket. Frolic and I are tied for points then, but I'll be the higher seed because I had beaten him in our match together. So the elimination brackets then should be Garmulator versus me, and Descara versus Frolic. So 2 rematches there, of course. Actually, the last game that I played was against Garmulator in the Swiss section. So that's going to be very interesting. We're just going to go into like another, a best of 3 series now. So that's pretty fun. But we will move on to the elimination brackets probably tomorrow. But it's been an exciting round 4. Lots of exploded debris and stuff all over these dunes. Who's the guy, by the way, who comes in and like cleans all these things up after like the fights? Makes me think of that one clip from Spaceballs with like combing the desert, Anyhow, that is going to be the Swiss section of Kharak Cup number 2 finished. And I'll see you in the elimination bracket.